Hey guys, welcome to week 2, day 4 of my Hypertrophy 1.0 program. You guys can download the program in the description down below. No strings attached. It's completely free. It'll just be added as a copy to your Google Drive. You guys can follow along if you so choose. But anyway, we're starting off today with a incline dumbbell chest press, and I really like this movement because you can get the maximum amount of range of motion that your individual anatomy can allow versus something like the Smith machine that we did last time. You're really being limited by where the bar is going to hit your chest versus this one you can go all the way down. And today I'm going to try and improve by not only going up in weight and trying to hit at least the same amount of reps, which is going to be 10, but I'm also going to try and really slow down the movement and control the weight. Because if you're just slamming the weight around, then you're not getting nearly as much out of the lift as you can otherwise. So anyway, going up 5 pounds per dumbbell, 70 to 75. That last rep was freaking really hard, but that's how you know that it's working. Something that I'm a big proponent of is not having your arms like all the way up at 90 when you're doing it, because supposedly that can mess with your shoulders a lot. And then I also don't go too narrow to where it's like a close grip bench, because then you're getting in more triceps than you probably want. So somewhere kind of in the middle is probably ideal. I'm kind of like right here when I'm doing it, which takes the emphasis off of the shoulders and the triceps and places it more on the chest. Unfortunately, I only got 8 repetitions that time, but you know what? I'm still going up in weight, so I'm still going to count it as a win, and I went to failure. I think that's really the name of the game. You put in as much effort as you possibly can, and you continually strive to progressively overload in some way. In my case, today it's with a little bit of extra weight, and the form's a little bit crisper, but it can be in a multitude of ways. Instead of going straight into the machine bench press, since I'm already here at the cable machine, I'm just gonna go straight into the standing up cable upright row and just do all the cable exercises then we'll probably finish off the training session with the machine bench press. If you guys aren't restricted by, having a camera and stuff where it might be in people's way, I would definitely just follow the program to a T how I made it. But in this case, I'm gonna make some minor modifications just to be like as discreet and considerate as possible. Anyway, I'm going up by about 10 pounds on this one because last time I feel like it felt a little bit light. So we're gonna do as many repetitions as I possibly can with this new adjusted weight, which is 42.5. And I've noticed that like all cable machines that I use, whatever it says on the machine is never exactly how it should be. Like the gym that I worked at in the past, they had one cable machine on one side of the gym which felt a certain way, and you would go to the cable machine on the other side of the gym. It's completely different. You would even use the same exact numbers, same exact weight, and it would be at least like 20 or 30 pounds off. I couldn't really calibrate it. So therefore, when I would make myself a program or work with a client or whatever, I would write down which cable machine we were actually at. I'd be like light cable machine, heavy cable machine. What I'm trying to say is that if you can, try and stick to the same cable machine every time. It's okay if you can't because you're doing this busy or because you're at a different gym. But definitely if you have the option to, I would. Again, I'm going up pretty high here, but I'm trying not to shrug my shoulders. I think I'm actually going to end up going up even more. I'm going to go up to 52.5. So we're jumping up literally 20 pounds, but I got over 15 repetitions there. And I would rather us not hitting repetitions in week 2. Okay, I'm gonna count that one as 12, which means that I think that 12 is a great number for this particular lift. So 52.5, 12 reps. Let's keep it going for the last 2 sets of this exercise. I reviewed the footage a little bit and noticed that I wasn't controlling the eccentric as much as I would like. For those of you that don't know, the eccentric is just the lowering phase of any lift. I think that the best tempo you can have is really strong and powerful concentric. So that in this case, it would be the pulling up phase and then having a nice slow and controlled eccentric. Not to the point where you're deliberately barely lowering it, but you want it to be controlled and not rushed. I think that that's a good tempo to have just for a basic hypertrophic tempo. So let's try this again. Trying to improve the tempo. So powerful on the way up, slow on the way down. So that definitely resulted in a better burn and it was more challenging. So I think that that is the way to go, is to really lock in that form. Something else that you could play around with is kind of having a pause at the top and a pause at the bottom, just to really squeeze and feel that contraction. I don't think it's as important as the previously stated variables that I mentioned. However, I think that if you have everything else locked down, then it's definitely a good way to add in some more stimulus and whatnot. I mean, that could even be a form of progressive overload, is just pausing at the top and pausing at the bottom. You don't even have to change the weight. And then after that, you can start increasing the weight gradually once you have your technique locked in. I want to briefly talk about bulking and cutting, because I've definitely had a lot of like friction with it in the past, like a lot of turmoil. I've had a lot of bad experiences and good experiences. I think that if you're going to go and do a bulk, then you just kind of have to accept that your body's going to change, probably in ways that you aren't super prepared for. What I mean is you're going to be adding some unwanted fat. Nobody wants to get fat. At least most people I feel like don't want to get fat, but it is something where it comes with the territory. If you want to be building the most muscle that you can, you're going to have to endure that side of the process. So I think that going into it with a really healthy mindset of, I'm expecting this to happen, so it shouldn't rock my world once it comes, or once it once it happens, is a healthier mindset. And also, when you're cutting, you should approach that with a healthy mindset to realize that you're not going to be getting stronger or bigger while you're cutting. You're just doing it to kind of get back into shape, but that doesn't, or get back into like to shred off that fat that you added. However, it shouldn't be one of those things where you like stop working out because of it. So I think that attacking bulking and cutting with the healthiest mindset possible is imperative. Because in the past, I went after it with a really unhealthy mindset where, I'm just trying to make the scale move up, and that's a form of succeeding. Well, that's not. That's just adding unwanted body fat. Then guess what? You get a bunch of stretch marks from doing stuff like that. And kind of where I've been recently is I'm completely against the idea of bulking and cutting, though I'm going to do it again here pretty soon. But I'm going to try and approach it with a healthier mindset than I have in the past, and a more deliberate one. I think if you're trying to bulk and cut and you're eating crappy foods, you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you're just being not nice to your body, then the outcomes that you're going to get are not going to be the ones that you foresaw for yourself. Up next, we actually have 4 sets of the unilateral cable side lateral deltoid raise. And therefore, I'm going to try and keep the talking at a minimum so that this video isn't outrageously long. We're practically doing 8 sets here, and I'm actually going to stick to the same weight and just try and hit 10 reps and above, because by nature of us doing 4 sets instead of 3 like last time, we're already going to be increasing our volume just inherently. So us really pushing the envelope here isn't really required, though if you can, you absolutely should. Try and get the full range of motion without shrugging too much. Okay, I think that was about 12. Correct me if I'm wrong. Trying to bring my arm a little bit across my body at the bottom portion of the lift to try and keep tension and derive a stretch out of the lateral deltoid head. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you guys are not tracking your sets and reps from week to week, then you are doing yourselves a major disservice. You don't even have to be following the program that I have. You don't even have to be following any program you don't want. But just like writing something down in your notes or something is going to serve you a lot better than your actual memory. And it's so rewarding when you go into the gym and you actually surpass what you did last week or the day before or last month, whatever it be. When you're setting PRs, personal records, each and every time, or just any time at all, it just reinforces the habit of going to the gym. It reinforces your passion for it and just gets you way more fired up to go each and every time. The times that I haven't tracked my workouts are the times that I've stayed stagnant and the times that I've lost passion. Next, we're hitting chest a little bit more with the cable chest fly. And last week I did it bilaterally with 2 cables, but honestly, I wasn't feeling it quite as much as I want. So this time we're going to be doing unilateral, and I'm going to grab this bar over here for stability so I can really just lock in to feeling one pec at a time. And I think that honestly, I like this version a lot more than the bilateral variation, but everybody's different. So mess with it yourself. I'm just going over this one. You can really get a lot of adduction of the arm across the body, which is one of the functions of the chest. is try and keep your torso in place and reach that arm across and squeeze your chest at the top. Set up this side for the same deal. This might not be like the best context to talk about this, but a lot of people say, like, while you're doing a compound lift, like RDLs or something, where you're lifting up, they like keep your head neutral so that your spine isn't going like this or your neck isn't going like that. But I really don't see a problem with your neck going up like that because the weight isn't being loaded onto your neck. So why does it matter? Your neck is just doing this, it's not actually having to struggle against any weight per se. So I don't think that the injury risk justifies the complaint. Okay, other arm. It's almost like I'm trying to punch. So really like winded back swing. Isn't that a Popeye or something? Well, I definitely feel like this is slightly light. I'm going to keep it here for this day. And next week, I'm certain that we can go up. And the only reason why I'm choosing to do this is because this is a new movement. I haven't incorporated this movement in my routine in over a year. So I'm just kind of getting used to it again and working my way through it. And we'll slowly build up. You guys don't want to be rushing anything when it comes to lifting. That's how people get injured and stagnant. Also, when you rush into a new movement, it's so novel on your body that if you overdo it, even slightly, you're going to be paying for it the next day. In other words, you're going to be super sore. Now, I'm the type of person where I actually love being sore, but for some people, it can be a big deterrent. They might end up skipping the next workout. I think a lot of people end up doing that because they think that they're not fully recovered because they're sore. But that's not what soreness means. Soreness is just your body's response to a novel training stimulus. And it shouldn't be ran away from. I mean, unless you know that you overdid it the day before and you absolutely need rest, then that's one thing. But if you're just a little sore in your muscles, I'd say it's just a good indicator that you're doing it right and shouldn't be treated differently. feel like my form got a little bit sloppy there towards the end. So next week we're gonna really dial that in. Next, we're up in the tricep volume and going to 3 sets of the standing overhead tricep extension. And I really like this exercise because you are hitting the long head to a greater degree than any other plane of motion. You're getting a deep, deep stretch of the top, hitting the long head more. And you know, it's a great exercise. And I especially love it with the cable just because of the strength curve. There's constant tension the whole way. The only way that I could see improving this is if you use a bench or something for extra stability. But for this program, I think it's great. Let's try and keep those triceps locked into place. Okay, even though I went up 5 pounds on this, it still feels too light. So we're gonna go up another 5 pounds because I did just do like 15 or 16 reps, which I think it was 15, which is just a little bit too many for my liking in this particular day. Someone else shown you legs, but okay, I think that is the weight that we want to be at for this session. That's a lot. So how do you feel? You're going to be expecting this right in. Like this. We can elbows to your side. Something like this. I'm definitely feeling a burn, which is good. All right, I'm going up on the tricep push down as well by 5 pounds. So there's never a better feeling than going up on literally all of your weights, at least in some way. Just enacting progressive overload on each and every set. It feels amazing and it gets you fired up for the next workout. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I love it. Actually got 15 there. Again, 15 repetitions is on that higher range that I programmed in this program. So next time we're definitely going to be going up again, maybe even more than 5 pounds. We may even go for 10 pounds. Just because I want to stick within that 10 to 15 range. And since we're at the upper end of that range, there's not going to be much room for progressive overload next time unless we want to up the weight. Or actually, no, I take that back. I think that next week we're going to be doing 3 sets of this regardless. So we're going to be increasing our volume in that sense. Try and flex my triceps at the bottom and stretch them at the top by flexing my biceps. at the top. Ooh, yeah, burn going. As you can tell, I throw in a little bit of cheating at the very end, but that's just to fully cement the idea that I have hit true failure. Okay, we're ending with the machine chest press instead of doing it second in the program, so it's definitely going to be much, much harder. But even though I still decided to add 10 pounds in total to this lift, 5 on each side. So we're doing more weight, we're doing more sets because we're doing 3 sets today. And we're going to try and hit 12 repetitions or more to really solidify this progress. I'll keep in good form. Okay, I got 12. So I count that as another win. That means that on every exercise, every set, we have progressively overloaded in some way, which is how we want it to happen. You guys may not be adding weight like I am. You may just be locking in your form. I'm sure that I have some work to do on my form too. Nobody's form is going to be completely perfect from day to day, but as long as you guys are making progress in some way, then I promise you, you are going to see it. I just noticed that something inside of me really wants to rush this last exercise. I think it's just the anticipation of almost being out of here, almost being done with this gym session. It's starting to like affect me subconsciously, and it's making me want to just plow through these last few sets and leave. So I'm actively telling that voice, no, we're gonna take the same amount of rest that you've taken on every single other exercise of this day, week 2, day 4, and we're gonna treat this exercise with the same respect and effort as any other exercise. I think this is a common thing that people do, myself included, where you tend to rush the exercises that are towards the end. You don't treat them with the same level of importance, probably because you're anticipating leaving, probably because you're tired by the end and you have other things to do. Maybe you're stressed out about something coming up. But if you want to see results, you really got to take the time and treat everything the same. Okay, this is the last sets, and then we are done with week 2, day 4. I hope you guys liked this particular day. We're gonna keep this energy going. We're gonna keep trying to push the limits, push our boundaries, and become a better person out of it. Frick. Have a good one.